Hi, I'm Tara Lynn of Geek Saga Entertainment, and welcome to Duck and Eggshells. Woo! This podcast series covers HBO's Night of the Seven Kingdoms episode by episode with myself, an avid reader of all things ASWAF, and my amazing co-host Manny, a Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon fan who is unsullied, aka has never read the books, being your stalwart hosts. So first things first, you can find me on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and YouTube at A Geek Saga.
And I'm Manny, the aforementioned unsullied co-host, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Mandissimo Art. Thanks for joining us for this episode, which will cover Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Season 1, Episode 3, titled The Squire.
As a reminder, expect spoilers from the episode we're covering, but less obvious, there will be very minimal book spoilers from the Night of the Seven Kingdoms novella collection, which is, of course, the source material for this show, but only up to and including what has happened in aired episodes of the show. We will kick off with our episode summary, then get into our tallest tales, aka our hot takes from the episode, followed by our favorites roundup featuring our personal fave things. After that, we'll close out by touching on Maester Manny's predictions on what might come next.
We also have a rating system that we will, as in our Hot D Takes series, fill in when and where we please. And that system includes rating things on a scale of 1 to 10 dunk eggs.
Duck eggs? Duck eggs?
Dunk
eggs?
Dunk.
Or goose eggs?
Goose eggs, yeah.
Oh man, just one last piece of business before we dig in. Don't forget that Geek Saga Entertainment has a Patreon with 10 tiers ranging from $1 a month to $40 a month. It offers tons of ways to support us and receive some great perks in return, including early access to these Hot D Takes podcast episodes. We're actually live streaming this for our $5 and up patrons, and our $3 and up patrons will get access about a day after we live stream. And especially for this, we're recording our episode 3 coverage late because yours truly had to have emergency eye surgery a week ago yesterday. So we're recording this on Sunday, February 8th. We're actually going to do 2 back-to-back recordings for episodes 3 and then episode 4. Apologize again, by the way, for late release, both for our patrons of the live stream and video and also to our podcast listeners. But what can you do? I was in the hospital a week ago yesterday. And if you're watching this or if you're seeing the screenshot, we always include a little screenshot in our social media promo for the podcast episodes. You'll see I'm wearing an eye patch, and I'm sure that that will come up in our discussion, particularly of these next 2 episodes. So I am wearing an eye patch. I literally cannot see anything other than light and blurry, very, very blurry sort of shapes out of my right eye right now. So not fun, but I am making the best of it. And anyway, so yeah, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/geeksaga_entertainment.
And now it's time for the tall and the bald of it, our very brief for this series episode summary.
Looks like we're doubling down on Arya Core Egg at the beginning of this episode. Egg refusing to believe that horses are dumb, by the way, and instead telling Thunder that he thinks they just don't want to be ordered around shows he's a hell of a lot smarter than his father is, in my opinion. We do not diss horses in this house.
Yes, amen to that. Yes. Also, we're back to pooping again, I guess. At least this time it was just a horse.
Honestly, Thunder for president, am I right?
Yeah. I really feel like the writers here just really wanted to just take a shit on things. I feel like every Game of Thrones has their thing, and the original Game of Thrones was all about boobs and butt, all this stuff. This one, they're like, nah, we just want to have a lot of shitting scenes. Shitting and farting and
puking.
Puking. We just want to make it as realistic as possible, I guess. Meanwhile, Sir Rizzling, vessel for the warrior, possibly the maddest knight in the 7 kingdoms, according to Egg, speaking in the third person like a champ. Too bad he's yet apparently another well-known person who hasn't heard of Dunk.
That aside, lol, they really just have to keep making it weird. We agree with Dunk in that it was at the very least very odd placement of Egg's question regarding having black hair growing out of his stones.
Continuing with the hilarity, it's the Westeros versions of Miss Mary Had a Steamboat.
Yeah, Miss Mary had a steamboat, the steamboat had a bell. He's singing that on screen. I was like, oh my God, now I need the patty cake version of that song.
Yeah.
Not to be outdone with horse poop, we get Dunk puke. Sighs at gross bodily function related humor.
I'm telling you, man, they were just like, we're not going to have nudity. We're just going to have shitting and puking. That's it. Dunk might have been able to stop puking once he found out he couldn't enter the list that day, but he's immediately taken down a peg because Tenso will apparently never not come upon Dunk in an awkward situation.
Quick aside, wait a mo. Did they just invent Westerosi breakfast sandwiches? And does anyone else want one, or is it just us? Those look fucking delicious.
Yeah, they absolutely did. Anyways, Dunk and Egg enjoying their tourney together, having much more banter and discussion of the future to boot, is all pretty much perfection.
Until the game master comes along to muck everything up with this betting games plot that Dunk is surely too honorable to take part in. Ugh, go away, you loogie hawking jerk.
Ugh. Yeah.
Distraction from that nonsense comes in the form of Prince Aerion Targaryen taking to the list, teasing his cousin Valar before actually challenging Sir Humphrey Harding, and Egg certainly seems worked up about this joust.
Really though, Egg yelling, kill him, seems a bit much until Aerion really plays dirty and quote best unquote his opponent by killing his freaking horse.
Yeah, best.
Bro.
Yeah, like what the fuck? We don't even want people to diss horses in this house, let alone kill them. This whole situation was beyond bad gamesmanship. Even the peasants, small folk, were angry and storming the field over it, and for damn good reason.
Yeah, the jousting might be done for the day, but Lionel Baratheon sure isn't. And neither apparently is attorney Camp Fortune Teller, who had some very interesting predictions about Dunk and Egg, but more on that later.
Because first, Dunk has to have a few too many with Raymond Fossaway and listen to his very negative, opinionated take on Targaryens. Ones that, to be fair, were only compounded by the fact that for sure Aerion meant to kill his opponent's poor horse.
And that's not the end of Aerion's nonsense. Unfortunately for Tenzel, he happens upon a very specific puppet show in which her dragon puppet dies. Though thankfully for Tenzel, Egg is there as well and runs to fetch Dunk, who unthinkably attacks a crown prince. Dunk the lunk indeed, y'all.
Of course, this is when we learn what Egg really has had up his sleeve this whole time. He's Maekar's missing youngest son. And of course, he stands up for his knight, but we have to wonder if he has only saved Dunk for now, not forever.
Tallest tale number 1, doubling down on Arya core, or, well, just literally everything about Egg in this episode.
Yeah. Most especially the beginning, like his interactions with the horse when he's spinning around with the lance and practicing handing it up to Dunk. It's again, all very Arya core. So cute. It was all so cute.
It was, But later too, talking about what he wants for a future, especially after finding out at the end of the episode who he is. It's so sweet to know that despite being a freaking Targ prince, he really seems like he would be happy with a more simpler life.
Yeah, it's super cute. Also, him teasing Dunk again about Tansel, and also their little conversation about how ale tastes. Like, I keep saying so freaking cute, but he's so cute. This kid is so good as Egg. This episode was so Egg forward.
It was very egg forward.
It was very Egg forward in the beginning, especially. Yep. But when Dunk has that awkward moment with Tansel and Egg is like, it's so it seems a little out of place, but like that, it didn't pull me out of the episode at all, even though it's some of the things are very, the language and stuff, particularly from Egg, seem very modern leaning, but it doesn't, it's not bothering me for the most part. There are some things that have pulled me out here and there. I can't remember. And this is the problem with, not being able to record this last week and actually having episode 4 come out early, is I'm trying not to mix up, my opinions and feelings about the two. But there are some things that have kind of jerked me out of the reality here and there. But the stuff with Egg is just, it's so good. And he was so good in this episode. I'm glad we got so much more of him, particularly the stuff at the beginning.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Tallest tale number 2. S. Hattie and Dumbface needs to GTFO already. And by S. Hattie and Dumbface, I want to be very clear. We mean Aerion Targaryen. I figure anybody listening or who has watched this would know what we mean. But sure, we knew he was a jerk when he first showed up in, was it episode 1 that he showed up in, or was it episode 2? I legit can't remember.
Episode 2. I thought it was 2.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was 2. But either way, when he first showed up, we knew he was a jerk from that very first scene. But he is so fucking extra in this episode, riding dirty in the tourney, and then attacking Tansel over the fact that the dragon puppet was killed slash
Lost
lost.
in her. Yeah.
The dragon lost the fight in her play. Like,
there always seems to be like that one Targaryen, right? Who's that character? Reminds me of that piece of shit from the first Game of Thrones, Daenerys's brother or whatever.
Viserys,
yeah, Viserys. Like, there just always seems to be one of those assholes. And let's face facts, we all went to high school with some asshole like that also. I can probably think of a few people off the top of my fucking head that every time one of these characters roll in, I'm like, oh, he reminds me of that fucking guy.
and honestly, like the actor is great because when I'm watching the show, all I can think is like, he has a very punchable face. But when I watch the commentary, like the post-show commentary, the actor, like his expressiveness, the way he talks and everything, I'm like, ooh, he's kind of cute. I appreciate his ability to make ass Hattie and dumb face into this character that I hate, but then to turn it around on me when I'm watching the commentary as this, the real person, the in real life actor as a person, not acting as Aryan is, whoa, it's a 180 entirely. As much as the character is a huge dick and I hate the character, again, it's like just great to see that level of like, you see that he's so talented because you see him as a normal person. You're like, whoa, totally different feelings about this guy.
Yeah, there's actually a few actors like that. In particular with like Game of Thrones, I remember the first time I had that experience was with, what's his face? The old man, like the Frey guy with the red wedding and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then he wound up playing the first Doctor in the Doctor Who special. And he was just like the sweetest old man ever. And I'm like, oh my God, I hated you a few minutes ago, but it's like, those are really good actors. They can really make you hate them. That's just A+ acting is what it is. So every time I find someone like this guy and I'm just like, I fucking hate him, like fucking whatever. It's like, well, he's a good fucking actor. All right. Tallest tale number 3. I'll take baby Targaryens for 1,000, Tara.
This bald little squire is one heck of a good worker when he puts his mind to it, but perhaps knows more than a wee peasant lad should.
Ooh, I know. Who is Sir Duncan the Tall Squire? Egg.
That is correct.
Oh man, the reveal. That was good.
How were your feelings on this?
It was good. But again,
did you expect it? Yeah.
I didn't expect it, but I knew that there was something between Egg and the Targaryens because they made that pretty clear, or at least kind of sideways did it in that one episode. So I knew there was going to be some kind of connection there. Now, did I think it was going to be this kind of No, I didn't think it would be something like this. I thought it would have been like maybe maybe Egg wronged the Targaryens in some way or something like that. And I guess he did, but not in this. I didn't expect him to be like a little prince, like on top of it.
Well, that's good to know because I was wondering about that because there was a moment, I might have put this in some of my thoughts later, actually, but there was a moment where I was like, wow, that was a really heavy-handed. And I think I put this in my ratings discussion. So I'll get into that a little more later. But yeah, there was a moment where I thought maybe they were a little too heavy-handed with the it was in this episode. So at least it wasn't, episode 2 or even or especially episode 1. But I will say about this reveal, we both loved the shocked sort of medieval, like Beethoven, almost not even medieval, like Beethoven style, music as they focused on each face. And there's some, I can't think of or remember what this reminds me of, but there is some cheesy show or movie or something that does this. It's like heavy-handed, it's silly, it's ridiculous, but I fucking loved it. I loved how they did that. It really just compounded the feeling of the show yet again in the most positive way, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, it was a really good reveal. It was a convenient reveal, honestly, because of course, no one is gonna tell the little prince no. But I will say it. I didn't expect it. So I thought that was really good. Yeah. Didn't see that one coming at all. Not that I thought that something was actually going to happen to Dunk or anything like that, but I don't know. I thought it was really good.
Certainly not in episode 3. It's well, something was going to happen, but not death immediately. Immediate death. All right. Do we want to get into our favorites roundup?
Yeah. So for me, it was definitely that whole play scene. I love how noble Dunk is. He hasn't been tainted, like how some of these other knights are. And he sees wrong and he just runs in and he's like, nope. And then on top of it, it's his girl also, this girl that he's crushing on. And then you have, asshat walking in here doing shit like that. Now, my thing is that if it's illegal to kind of depict these dragons getting killed, were there no Targaryens ever coming around to this place, watching this play? It seems to be like kind of a thing that happens kind of regularly. So I was just kind of curious as to like, I don't know.
So Targaryens don't necessarily bring this many of their family members to one place. That was kind of a thing in the novellas where it's rare that Baelor would be there with his son Valar, and Maegor is there and is supposed to have three of his sons, Daeron the eldest, who is his heir, and then Aerion, and then his youngest Aegon. It is rare for that many of them to be in one place, but also the puppeteers are Dornish. They are pretty anti-Targaryen. They never wanted to be part of the Seven Kingdoms. In the end, they were never even really defeated the way the other kingdoms were, the North, the Riverlands. They weren't defeated the way all these other areas were. They sort of entered the fold of Westeros against their will, but under like a marriage contract, essentially. They were never actually defeated. And the Dornish have never liked the Targaryens and never wanted to be part of Westeros. So like they for sure had done this play, this puppet show in Dorne where nobody is going to say anything. And they might have done it elsewhere in Westeros and no Targaryens have seen it. Or for that matter, if a Targaryen was at a tourney or something where they were doing it, it might have been Baelor who's like, I mean, yeah, technically they shouldn't have done that, but Baelor's not going to say anything about it or do anything. He doesn't care that much. Like everybody else says, it's just a fucking play. Yes, they shouldn't have done it, but it's like any sort of satire, or it's SNL.
Yeah, and aside from that, was anything with Egg in this episode. That was definitely my favorites. They just make such a good pair, and I just like it when they do a little more Egg there instead of just Egg being just like the little Squire. I like it when Egg runs his mouth.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I feel like this episode much more so, definitely. And as he's gotten, and also in episode 2, he definitely ran his mouth a little more, but I was hoping that would happen. I feel like it's still maybe not happening quite as much as it does in the novellas, or he's not quite as sassy maybe in his tone. Yeah. But I'm not complaining because I think they're doing a really good job. I think the actor's doing a really good job. He's not quite as sassy as I expected, but I'm loving what their vision for this character is so far anyway. For me, obviously the whole first scene, but also very specifically when he is with my one-eyed comrade in arms over here, Sir Robert Risling. I'm sorry, maybe I should talk in the third person. Tara's one-eyed comrade in arms, Sir Robert Risling. When Egg is talking with Sir Risling, says, you're a little small, or you look too small to be a squire, and Egg says, I serve Sir Duncan the Tall. He's large enough for the both of us. And it's so cute. It's just so cute. He's so proud of who he's serving, even though Dunk is a nobody. And especially now knowing who he is, it's like, whoa, his feelings for Dunk are strong and real and good. And it's so cute. So fucking cute. I'm going to use that word way too much as we're covering this show, but whatever it is. The other favorite thing I had was just, holy shit, those fortune teller predictions. And this happens kind of right before we find out that Egg is a Targaryen. But first, the fortune teller telling Sir Duncan, that he will be richer than a Lannister. Like, I think she says something like, you'll rise high, you'll be richer than a Lannister. That's something. Problem is then he's like, do the boy. And she scares the shit out of Egg because she's like, you'll be king and you'll die in a hot fire and worms will feed on your ashes and the people who know you will rejoice that you're gone.
Yeah,
like, damn,
that was
lady.
a bit much.
And poor Egg is like, what? He's so confused and so scared, and Dunk is just like, it's a good one.
Wow. Yeah, that was a bit much. Like, you couldn't have just laid it on a little softer than that.
I looked up the actress because weirdly enough, like her voice and like the bottom part of her face that you can see, I was like, she looks so familiar, but she's not anybody I know, which is weird. Weirdly enough, and maybe it was because I had been watching the new Bridgerton episodes like right before this. I was like, wait, is that the actor who plays the Bridgerton mother? But it's not. It's just, it was very, very weird. But yeah, I don't know. The fortune teller predictions thing was a neat scene because like, well, how's Duncan be richer than a Lannister? And then like, even knowing who Egg is, for my part, like, already I knew who he was, obviously. Hearing that prediction was like, ugh. Okay, that's a lot. Calm down, lady. But also Dunk just like laughing at Egg is actually scared because he's like, wait a minute, I am a Targaryen. What do you mean I'm going to be king? And Dunk is over here like,
yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Sure, lady, sure.
Yeah, you crazy lady, you crazy. Keep on, get out of here. That was his attitude, like
Yeah.
this lady's crazy.
Well, I mean, also, to be
Uh,
fair, her saying he was going to be richer than a Lannister is crazy to him, too. So the whole
yeah.
thing to him sounds insane. Not so much to Egg based on how he looked. So,
No. Well, Egg probably knows Targaryens have a reputation of doing dumb things and being hated and,
yeah,
dying in various ways.
playing stupid games and winning stupid prizes.
Exactly.
Fucking around and finding out.
Yep.
Ratings. What do you think? What are you giving this episode?
I'm going to give this one like a 7 out of 10 because the reveal is like really good. See, I don't know because I'm trying to not compare it to other Game of Thrones things, right? Because I feel like this show is, when you look at it at the grand scale, it's extremely slow moving, but it doesn't have to go anywhere fast because it's really just dealing with one kind of subject matter. I feel like nothing was happening in the episode until the big reveal at the end. It's almost like every episode's like, oh, it's like Dunk getting out of bed and, oh, I'm eating waffles today, and then now we're gonna walk over here, whoop, it's lunchtime, all right, oh, there's Egg playing with the horse. You ready for lunch, Egg? Yes, ready for lunch. Banter, let's go get fucked up tonight. And then, oh, we're gonna go get fucked. Like, it just seems like a day-to-day kind of thing, which I don't hate. I'm not shitting on it, but I guess maybe I'm just getting used to the pacing of it. But it's still good. It's just, it's not explosive, but I don't think it's supposed to be, and it's actually better that it's not. So much so that when they did the reveal with Egg, it almost seemed out of place to me because it was like, oh, but I was like, wait, this is not a show where we go, oh, this is a show that we're just kind of like, oh, cool. I don't know. This is the kind of show you watch like in a hot tub while you're relaxing and sipping on a mimosa. Like, you're not like watching it like at the bar getting fucked up waiting for the next, dragon to burn somebody, so. But but no, I would give this episode a nice solid. Actually, I'm probably being a little greedy there. I give it an 8 out of 10. I would give it an 8 out of 10 because it was definitely entertaining, and the way it ended was actually really good.
A lot of my friends have been posting like, these episodes are too short. These episodes are too short. And in a way, I agree because I want more. And maybe that's what they're saying because I haven't really interacted with anybody who said that. But in a way, I agree because yes, I want more. But I also don't think the episode should be longer or much longer. Like, I think at most the 40 maybe 45-minute mark is about what the max that they would need because they're telling the story, that they need to tell. Like you said, yeah, sure, it's like not much is happening. And that's the thing. That's why the episodes don't seem too long or boring or anything like that. Like, sure, not a ton is happening, but even when not much is happening, it's fun, I guess, is how I feel about it. So like, I don't think they should be longer because if they were longer, then it probably would be like, okay, maybe they could have done 4-hour-long episodes or something, or 10-minute long episodes. But I'm okay with the way they're doing it because I think they're splitting. So far, I think they've split up the story pretty well in terms of time-wise and what happens in each episode. Now, for my rating, I mentioned earlier that there's some things that kind of take me out of it. In this specific instance, one thing that took me out of it a little bit, I wanted to note the use of the term aliens. Raymond Fossaway calls the Targaryens incestuous aliens. That took me out of the show for a moment. Incestuous, sure, but how do they know the term aliens? How are there aliens in this world? It just felt really weird, and it knocked the episode down a bit. Like, even if just a small bit for me.
I can see that.
It was like, there has to have been another word they could have used. Aliens just seemed very out of place. I'm 99.9999% sure that word has never been used in any of the text either. So it's a bit of weird. It was a very weird choice of word. I didn't like it. It took me out of it for a moment, whatever. The other thing that kind of I wasn't sure about was when Egg runs into Raymond's tent and Raymond is talking about Maekar's missing sons, and Egg appears right as Raymond says, and the youngest. Even as a book reader who knew the thing, this felt a bit heavy-handed. I know that I'm sure it didn't clock with you, but I was like, oh, come on, really? The timing on that is just way too specific.
Yeah.
And honestly, I could be not remembering. Maybe it happens that way in the novella. Even if it does, like, I don't know. It feels different seeing it on screen than like in the novella, where if it happens in there, it's probably like Dunk is talking to Raymond and, talking to him about the missing sons. And then Egg ends up wandering into the tent. Seeing it on screen made me feel like this is heavy-handed to me. Now, both of those things said, I liked this episode a lot. I think the stuff with Egg and Thunder and his little interaction with Tara's one-eyed comrade and on Sir Robert Risling at the beginning. And just, I love the really cute, I hate using that. I'm using that word too much. I loved the discussion that Egg and Dunk were having about the future. And especially when Egg was talking about, well, I will marry the second most beautiful daughter. And Dunk is like, well, what about the first most beautiful? And Egg's like, well, you already married her. It's like, oh, be still, my
really
heart.
Sweet. Yeah, that was really
so
sweet.
That stuff. And again, the way they did the reveal, maybe some people found it ridiculous. I don't know, but I loved it. I thought it was just perfect in terms of like, it was a little bit of comedy, a little bit ridiculous, but it fit with everything that the show's doing so far and the story. Yeah. And I loved it so much. I'm going to give this one, I would say an 8.5 or maybe an 8.75 out of 10. I think I'm knocking it down 0.75 points for the use of the word alien and 0.5 points for the heavy-handedness of Egg walking into the tent. But yeah, 8.75 I think is a nice. Maybe 8.5, but definitely up there.
Good episode regardless.
Yeah. Mr. Manny's predictions. What dost thou predict, sir?
Oh, I'm going to predict that there's just going to be Targaryen cowardness, most likely. Any of these guys are like tough guys and stuff like that. And now I'm curious as to how they're going to rectify that. Because now that Dunk did all those bad things, but then Egg is now like, wait a minute, but I'm the prince or whatever, And I just feel like whatever they set up in the next episode, we're just going to see a lot of like sideways cowardice from that asshole. Because they always like to play the big people but in the end, they're fucking cowards.
Gosh, this was a quick one, which is weird because like I liked a lot about this episode, but hey, whatever. I don't think I have to cut much from the edit, so that's a plus.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we're so late on this episode. As we close out the episode, we just want to say thank you to our listeners for joining us for Dunk and Egg Tales. Woo! Manny and I will be back very soon to cover the 4th episode of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Meanwhile, for the most current news and updates about this and other Geek Saga podcast series, make sure to follow at A Geek Saga on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and or YouTube. And also, please consider supporting us by backing our Patreon at patreon.com/geeksaga_entertainment.